It's often said that the EU referendum was characterised by lying and deception, particularly from the Leave campaign, and to a certain extent that's true, of course. The NHS won't be seeing an extra £350 million a year anytime soon. But despite those events being almost 12 months ago, the lying has not stopped. Only now it's not coming from Messrs Johnson, Gove and Farage, but from the other side, from Remain, particularly the Liberal Democrats, the party of the 48%. Despite the fact they've repeatedly insisted they will only go into government with the party of hard Brexit, the Conservatives. Last summer, Britain voted to leave the EU, and it was decisive, 52% to 48%. More than 1 million votes separated those two camps. And all the polling since then would appear to indicate the majority of Brits still want us to leave the EU. So things haven't changed. As important as that, however, is how a majority of Remain voters, and I was one of them, don't wish to see a second referendum. They wish to respect the results of last June. Which probably explains why the Liberal Democrats and those campaigning for a second referendum are a minority in Britain, and why the party of the 48% can't go far beyond 10%. All of which means that Labour's position of soft Brexit is actually the most popular position in Britain. It resonates the most with the average person. Think about it, the other two parties have extreme positions here. The Tories want a hard Brexit without a plan. They want us to junk the single market and make our way, ditching our partners and probably, actually inevitably, paying a very heavy economic cost, not just for the next year or two, but for the next decade or two. Meanwhile, the Liberal Democrats are another extreme. They want a second referendum. They want this nightmare to go on. And like I said, the polling would indicate that Leave would still win. And even if Remain did win, even if a second referendum said a majority of Brits want us to stay in the EU, why would that have more authority than the first? This is just ridiculous. It would create even more chaos. It would make a political car crash even worse. The Liberal Democrats know that they can't stop Brexit. What this does, this position on Remain being the party of the 48%, what it does is it allows them to maintain political relevancy. It's a cure to the ailment which was being in a coalition government presiding over austerity for 5 years. Of course, that meant a very heavy price for them in the 2015 general election. But more than even political relevancy, it brings them members and money. Because while the Tory party have big business and Labour have a mass membership and the trade unions to fund them, the Liberal Democrats have neither. With a second referendum, being the party of the 48%, they've finally spied an opportunity to compete with the other two when it comes to resources and money. They're taking these poor people's money with one hand whilst looking at the Tories in the face and saying, when the time comes, we'll govern with you. Perhaps most sickeningly of all, ironically as well, is that for soft Brexit to happen, the majority position in Britain and something that is obviously very important to their members and supporters, the Liberal Democrats would likely have to enter into a coalition with Labour, something they've repeatedly ruled out. The only way we can stop hard Brexit is with a coalition including these two parties. And that's a proposition that Vince Cable and Nick Clegg and Tim Farron laugh at. They don't take it seriously. So why should you? To the people who've joined the Liberal Democrats over the issue of the European Union, or maybe will vote for it in the June 8th general election, or have given money to it, great or small, I feel sorry for you because you're not just being lied to or deceived to, you're being taken the piss out of, you're being laughed at, you're being slapped in the face. There's no way that the Liberal Democrats can stop Brexit if they go into government with the party of hard Brexit, the Conservatives, something they've repeatedly said they'll do, whilst writing off partnership with Labour to stop the worst case happening. Nick Clegg used to be the biggest liar in politics, and in many ways Tim Farron really is his rightful successor. I thought student fees was as bad as it gets, but you know what? What the Liberal Democrats are selling on the EU right now is the biggest act of con artistry I have ever seen in British politics. Don't swallow it, because when June the 8th comes round, they'll make all of us pay for it.